Boy, was that ironic. Here I am filming, and he comes out of his room right then and there. So I was polite to him, but I want to be able to use the library like anybody else. And you'll notice he didn't say one word because he saw he was on film. And that's one thing they don't do is discuss anything while they're on film. And I made sure that I didn't put his face on the film so that there would be absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. Yeah, I gotta tell you, that's one thing I don't appreciate is being harassed. And people think that they can get away with it because I'm small, I'll never see 4'11", and I never ever am, I'm usually never mean. But if you start messing with me, you're gonna see a different side of me, you know? And this is about the third time that I felt this person. And that cart that he had, that's the one I was talking about that he leaves up here. And he was taking something downstairs. I don't know what it was, but I can tell you this much. I'm not going to take any policing from anyone. I don't know who he, and when I got here, I was very, very warned. But I'm so into my own life that I generally don't pay much attention to things going on around me. And I've heard people saying just how harsh and how awful it is and how the people are mean. And, you know, I haven't found that, you know, because I help a lot of people, you know. They come by and, you know, look at my bulletin board and, you know, they can even leave a note if they want because they need help and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure that that's starting to really annoy this old man over here because he feels like he's supposed to be the one in charge. He was in charge of the storage, he said, before the manager was changed out. He was in charge of the library. I don't know what that means, in charge of, because as far as I know, no one is in charge of anything around here except for the manager, and perhaps maybe the maintenance can say, please don't be in this area or whatnot. But I have no idea where he gets off telling me, well, I'm afraid you're going to take it over. And I'm like, well, nobody's even in there, A. And B, I would never leave my equipment to be stolen and whatnot, you know what I mean? And so I don't know exactly where he was coming off or what he thought he was doing, but I found it to be extremely offensive, insulting, and I feel he was trying to intimidate me, and I am not easily intimidated because the thing is I have every right that he does. And see, I think that's part of it, is this lady down here, they're friends, and that's probably the commonality because the minute I walked in here, one of my movers smelled like smoke, and you wouldn't believe how she came and yelled, and we explained to her that we weren't smoking in there, and I apologized, you know, that it was bad for her. I was so nice to her. And then I said, and my name is Jamie, and what's your name? And she's all, that doesn't matter, and slams the door in my face. Ever since then, she has harassed me constantly. Yesterday, she locked my keys in here. See, this lock automatically locks when the door closes, so I had a door stop on it. And what got it was that here I am, minding my own business, and I had absolutely no intention of bothering anyone. Meanwhile, here I am, I go across the way to go and get my purse because I had to get a telephone number. And I come back and the door is closed. Can you believe that? So I'm going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do about my keys? Fortunately, one of my other neighbors came out and I said, oh my gosh, somebody just closed the door. And they told me who'd done it. So I walked that way. And by the time I got in there, she's like, no one wants to talk to you. I'm like, are you kidding me? That just tickled me so much. So obviously, we're going to have to make a formal complaint. Obviously, we're going to have to keep this very documented because this is how the things start out. You see, it starts out a very clannish thing. And I'm so happy that the mayor asked me to do this because it's absolutely intolerable how many people are on government programs and think that it's absolutely okay to intimidate others, to manipulate others, to bother others, to harass others because they find them unfit. I'm pretty sure my color doesn't help me. But in her case, it was because I was too young. I thought that was hilarious because, for one thing, Mama is 56 years old. And then what really tickled me is when I was called out, are you even on the lease? I'm like, you idiot, I'm the only one on the lease. I mean, that's just like the most silly thing that I've ever heard in my life. Meanwhile, You know how it is. They get together, they canoodle. Whenever you decide that you're going to dislike a person based on what another person says and you're going to treat them badly, that says so much about who and what you are. There's absolutely no way to put a mask over your face once you have revealed it. You see, that's the thing, is most people, especially when it comes to narcissists, you don't see it. You never see it. Then you do see it, and you can't unsee it. Even if you tried, you just can't unsee it. And that's kind of the case that happens around here, is you'll think someone's perfectly nice, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, you're not nice at all. And so that's kind of where we're at with that, is that as long as I keep documenting and showing, because as of now, it's 6:46, so he was in there playing around at 6:15. I heard the noise. I had my electric wheelchair in there, and I don't want it stolen. And because, see, the thing is the pendulum always swings in the opposite direction, because he and a couple others want to feel like they're Nazis around here. Then other people don't think it's fair, and then they let people in, or they compensate for these idiots' behavior, and it causes quite a bit of strife. Usually not for me, because I'm quite the hermit, so I could care less. And when someone like that doesn't like me, I consider it to be quite the compliment, to be honest with you. In order to be one of your birds, I have to be of your feather, and I don't want to be of that kind of a feather on any day, on any night, on any weekend or holiday. So one of the things that I really want to instill in you guys is, when you start finding that people start playing with you, see, this is how gang stalking starts, is you'll have one neighbor will have a disagreement with you. And then they decide that they've got to start recruiting others to their team. And they'll start saying things about you, usually untrue, with a little bit of truth put in it, so that there can be just enough veracity to keep the story going, or to keep the fire burning. And what we end up with is a lot of people that are in skirmishes, and no one likes each other, just as the Luciferian would like it. What's funny is the person in question looks just like a Luciferian, but then again, what does a Luciferian look like? You know, I've had many people tell me I look like a witch, and you know, what does that look like, you know? So it's kind of funny, because he definitely has that sardonic look, you know, and it tickles me beyond all measure. But one thing I will not do today, tomorrow, or the next is tolerate someone bullying me. I'm not going to do it. I'm too old. I've gone through too much. When I was younger, I allowed people to get away with it too much. I'm a very sweet person, so people tend to mix that up for weakness. Well, one thing about Mama, she is anything but weak, and I'm done playing the game of, I'm going to be so nice to you after you've been so mean to me. Now, I'm not saying that I believe we have to do tit for tat, happy day, but I am saying that I'm not going to tolerate that behavior. I'm not going to tolerate people bothering me. And he didn't come to me face to face. He did these passive aggressive little things like locking me out, stealing the Roku. Now I think it's him who stole it, and then brought it back because it was on his conscience. I believe that was probably his Xfinity thing. Maybe once in a while he likes to go in there as it's his TV room and thinks of it as his TV room. Well, you know, that's just simply not the case. And he's going to have to understand that people have to share. And if someone wants to come in and get a book or even read, I'll make sure that they are more than able to do so. So I have no idea what he thinks his problem is. And except that he wants to talk to a girl that he doesn't think will talk to him unless he's got an issue, which I find very silly, sad, and depressingly low self-esteem. You know, I mean, just come at me like a human being. Be nice. I wanted to be nice. But no, instead, they've got to be mean, you know? And when you see them, you'll often think that they're widowers, you know? And it's like, in his case, I'm wondering if he killed her or if there was a divorce.